Bungie released a brand new exotic bow this past Tuesday. After getting it and trying it out, I found that this weapon has some potential in in-game content. So today I wanted to pair Wishkeeper against some of the best exotic bows we currently have in in-game content to answer one question: how viable is the Wishkeeper in in-game content? We'll be revealing what bows I'm putting it up against, talking about the performance of this bow compared to the others, explaining its strengths and weaknesses, and then deciding if it's viable for in-game Destiny. So with that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's hop into the video. So let's start out with what bows I'm putting this thing up against. I tried a total of 3 different bows against Wishkeeper to see how it compared. The 3 bows I tried are as follows. We have the Wish Ender, the Tiku's Divination, and the Hierarchy of Needs. Why did I choose these options? Well, for Wish Ender, it's a very popular option for Grandmaster content, thanks to its access to an intrinsic anti-barrier and also for the large amount of damage the arrows do to targets. For Tiku's Divination, I chose it because it has fairly good add potential and does a solid amount of damage if you use the weapon correctly, which is to hipfire the weapon first when shooting a target, then to aim down sight so that you can cause an explosion with the next arrow. For our Hierarchy of Needs, the bow does solid damage and can increase its damage when paired with the guidance rings that can be spawned by getting precision hits and final blows. So now that I've explained my reasoning, let's talk about Wishkeeper's performance. So I wanted to test this weapon's damage compared to others. Wishkeeper's damage in in-game content is nothing surprising. It does okay damage to targets, taking roughly 3 precision shots to take down a Legionnaire, which might not seem that great, but it helps build towards the weapon's exotic perk being Snare Weaver, which lets you spawn a trap that will suspend targets that run into it or will suspend the target that the arrow gets stuck into. I think that the exotic perk has some value for in-game content, especially if it can pair well with a suspending build. Furthermore, you will be able to upgrade this weapon in the near future, allowing you to unlock perks that can buff the suspend trap this weapon spawns. The main issue I find that this weapon suffers from is that the suspension does not last long, especially against champions, which were the targets that I'd use the Snare Weaver trap against. Thankfully, that issue may be resolved in the future thanks to the Enduring Snare Refit perk we get access to soon, which will extend how long targets are suspended for. So when that perk comes out, it could up the value of this weapon in in-game content. That said, the damage on this weapon is a problem for me, especially when you compare to the other 3 bows I used. For Wish Ender, it did more damage towards targets, which helps it be a better option for ad clearing in in-game content. Add on to this the fact that it can easily take out barrier champions thanks to its intrinsic anti-barrier, and you have a recipe for a weapon that will be far better than Wishkeeper currently is. Regarding Tiku's Divination, I found this weapon to perform around the same level as Wishkeeper currently does. Its damage isn't mind-blowing and it compares to Wishkeeper from my experience. Regarding the utilization of this weapon, it can deal with barrier champions with the help of Radiant, but I don't think this weapon has utilization towards other champions, maybe outside of Kindling Trigger, which is a seasonal artifact mod that allows you to scourge targets when Radiant. Otherwise, I find Wishkeeper to be on the same level with Tiku's Divination. I think as Wishkeeper gets further upgraded, it can shadow Tiku's Divination. For Hierarchy of Needs, it seems to do a little more damage than Wishkeeper, but with Guidance Ring, it does more damage pretty easily. That being said, it fails in the champion utilization department as it can only deal with barrier champions with the help of Radiant, which this season is fairly easy thanks to the help of Flint Striker, which grants Radiant on rapid solar precision hits. However, Wishkeeper still has the weapon beat in this department thanks to the fact that it can also deal with barrier champions with the help of Radiant, and it can deal with unstoppable champions thanks to Snare Weaver. Therefore, I find Wishkeeper to be better than a Hierarchy of Needs. So, with all of this information on the table, what can I say regarding Wishkeeper? Well, I find this weapon does have some potential in in-game content, although I don't see that potential being that much. I can see this weapon being decent in in-game content, with it being one of those weapons that has a sole purpose that it focuses on fulfilling. I think that if you are to play this weapon to that purpose and only to that purpose, then this weapon could be fairly great. However, outside of that purpose, this weapon will be okay in in-game content and not much further than that. Well, that'll wrap it up for today's video. If you found it helpful, then consider dropping a like and subscribing for more Destiny 2 content dropping weekly. If you have content you'd like to see me post, then be sure to drop a comment and I'll be sure to get to it. Otherwise, be sure to check out my other social media platforms for additional content from me. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.